Hi there, this is Morgan with Morgan Burke's Photography and Product Shop, and today I'm going to show you how to retrieve some detail from a blown out image with sun flare. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to handle the exposure, because what happens is when you get that sun flare in your camera, your exposure is then reads off. So it's basically brightening your photo more than is necessary. So what we're going to do is bring that back, and I'm going to do that by hitting the half black half white circle at the bottom of my layers panel and selecting the layer called levels. Now with levels, all of these sliders affect different portions of the image. The black slider affects the shadows, the gray slider affects the midtones, and the white slider affects the highlights. To bring the exposure down, I'm going to grab the midtone slider, which is just the gray one in the top, and drag it to the right. And you'll notice that this brings a lot of that detail back and the color. You'll also notice that it makes your color a lot richer than you thought it was. So there's lots of red tones in here and yellows. And so that brings me to the second step, which is color correction. So in this case, there's lots of reds here, especially in the shadows over her hair. And so I want to minimize that a little bit. So I'm going to come down here again to the half black, half white circle, hit levels again. And then I'm going to change where it says RGB, I'm going to change it to red, so I'm affecting the red channel. And now I'm going to remove some of the reds from the shadows, and I'm going to do that with this black slider here. I'm just going to drag it to the right to reduce the reds from the shadows. Now you'll notice that kind of makes it a little bit greenish, a little bit cyan. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to then grab the blue channel, and I'm going to take the bottom slider, the bottom black slider, and I'm going to drag it to the right a little bit. And this will reduce some of those yellow tones and cool them down a little bit. So you can turn this on and off and see what you think. And here we've just reduced those overly reddish warm tones. Now you might want this on the background, but I'm basically paying attention to the subject here. So once I've removed them from her, you can always use your layer mask here to paint those colors back onto the background. Just use a black brush and you can paint those color tones in. I'm at 30% opacity. You can do this at a higher opacity and then just add those back in there. It's basically up to you how you want to edit it. The third step in bringing these details back is details. So we've already fixed the exposure, we've fixed the color, and now we're going to do some details. And so what I mean by that is I'm just going to open another levels layer here. I'm going to bring the shadow slider down a bit because I want to darken those. I'd like to paint over the subject here. I want to kind of draw her out of that haze. So I'm going to reduce the shadows here, and then I'm going to go back into the red channel again, and I'm going to remove a little bit more of that red tone and bring that down just so I can see the color of her hair as it actually was. And you can remove more of the red if you want more gone. That adds some. You can use this bottom slider to remove more. It's up to you how far you want to go with this. So here what I'm going to do is, since I know that I only want it over my subject, I'm going to use the layer mask here, and I'm going to hide this adjustment from the image. And I'm going to do that by hitting Control or Command I on my keyboard. And that inverts that layer mask. So now that window is closed. So what we're going to do is we're going to grab a white brush and we're going to reveal that adjustment only over the areas we want. So in this case, I'm going to make the opacity of my brush 20%. I did that just by hitting the 2 on my keyboard. And now I'm going to paint over my subject, especially over her hair. I want to draw those details out. I can paint over her top here to bring out more of that blue color. And again, you can go as in-depth with this as you want. And you can adjust the colors the way that you want to. If you like cooler colors in your images, if you really like warm colors, the possibilities are endless, and you can continue with this. So now, as you can see, we've drawn her out of that haze a little bit. And so if you go back to your background layer and you hold down your Alt key, you can hit the little eyeball on that layer with your Alt key selected, and it will show you your before image and now your after image. So I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. If you have any questions, you can email me at morgan@morganburks.com, or you can find me on Facebook at facebook.com/morganburksphotography. Thanks so much for watching, and have a great day.